What's up? It's a frequency control show. You got
What up?
Rob, Will with the
Willie Stride.
crazy glasses up in there.
Yeah, I decided to chill it out a little bit.
Chill it out,
Uh
spice it up.
these these shows seem to be morphing into just weekly conversations, and I was telling Robert this week, like, we should have it to where, because every time we jump on to do a show, we talk before the show. And now we're at our shows at a point to where I think our shows should be more like our talks that we do before we start.
However, we talked for 2 hours today.
I know. I've been today. We talked longer than I wanted to, but it was good though. It was still good because it's important. These weeks are very important because this is how we talk about how we've been on track with our thinking and our actions, and using this information to, you know as I'm on my path to create the opportunities, taking the right actions consistently and long enough. And it just so happens, well, first I want to start off though, actually, with the no shortcuts. Like, when I first got this information, I totally thought this is a shortcut to success for me just by changing my thinking. And that's exactly what I did. I thought I found the shortcut to success, and all I had to do was get obsessed with getting my thinking about the right things consistently and long enough. I thought I would be able to cheat the speed in which I achieved my success. And now, 5 years later, almost 2 years in, 4 months shy of 2 years into a podcast about this stuff every week. Not to mention all the stuff we've been doing, daily takeoff checklists, some other writing stuff. Been working on. I've realized there is no shortcut, and as important as I believe in the thinking in this process, and how I believe the thinking does outweigh the action, but the thinking isn't a shortcut to get what we want. As a matter of fact, I've noticed that it takes a while just to get your thinking straight. It takes a long time. It's taken me a long time to clearly define what I want. I've been going through 2 years of clearly defining wrong things because I haven't really clearly defined what I wanted and then make the decision to make it happen until recently. You know, Especially after last year, I didn't finish the goals I had set out for last year. And then I turned 50 and everything's changed. But so there's no shortcuts. But I wanted to get on this path. There is no shortcuts. My thinking my thinking is, I believe, a really, I think I have an advantage in that part with my imagination, and being able to go to my place of success often and know what it feels like and have conversations so much that on my path now, I'm having conversations about being that person now that I'm planning to be 3 years from now. I need to be that person now. Like, I'm thinking about it so much, I'm having conversations of, I need to be that person now. And that's where I think I have an advantage. But it still isn't a shortcut because it's taken 5 years just to clearly define what I want, and get in tune with the path that's showing me that I'm on the right path and I'm making the right choices. Because I'm noticing that every week now, every conversation I'm about to prove it to you now about what Robert and I was talking about before this actual show. Now that I've clearly defined what I want, and now we're 3 weeks in talking about the same thing about the path, because that's where we're at. These shows now, is our weekly progress to achieve the level of success that you people listening are gonna want to finally pay attention. Matter of fact, people will start watching because we're over a year and a half in and still nobody's watched yet. And that's just going to show you by the time you're watching, how many years will it be until you're actually watching? You know, another year, another 2 years, where these shows are 4 years old and now people are watching them. But we took the action 4 years ago, and 4 years from now, we're seeing the results of that. Like, but this path thing, like, once we clearly defined it and made the decision to do it, now that I'm so in tune with my path and I'm so in line with my thinking and my actions that I am experiencing things on my path that's showing me that I need to be this person now, not 3 years from now, because people are asking me to be this person without even knowing I'm already thinking about being this person 3 years from now. There can't be, this is like high level coincidences. Like, there's no such thing as coincidences, right? But people understand coincidences, but this is a high level coincidence where, okay, I'm on the right path. I'm obsessed with thinking of what the future looks like clearly, because I'm having conversations 3 years earlier than what I'm thinking about now. I need to be that. So, but every conversation I'm having, every experience I'm having every week just shows that I am on the right path, so much that, you know, we need to make, I have a plan on what I need to do. It's written out on my table. And now with these conversations weekly, and especially right now we had before this show, I realize I have to change it again, because the action I really need to take for all of this stuff to happen, I need to switch it up a little bit, because I've already started it, but I need to switch it up and concentrate on it more. And this isn't the first time we've had this conversation. We've had this conversation that I need to do this several times, and I have dipped my toes in it, but I haven't been so committed because the path, it just seems crazy to me, right? I feel like there's another way as well, so I keep like, well, this is what I want to do and this and that, but none of that's going to work out unless I bite the bullet and do what I really don't want to do.
The reason we don't
right
like that other path is because of all the fucking busy hard work, and a lot of us are scared of the hard work. Mm-hmm. Sometimes it's getting your freaking hands and feet dirty and
it's
digging
literally
in.
2 in the morning work, tedious stuff. But this is what needs to happen. And this is a conversation we've had several times. And like I said, I've dipped my feet, but I get burnt out because it's just not a process, like Robert's saying, like, it's not the action I really want to do, because it's not really that. Yeah,
everybody wants to have the money.
Writing.
Everybody wants the money falling in their lap, but nobody wants to do the work.
I'm trying to take a shortcut.
Everybody
I'm trying to take a shortcut.
You want the money and no work. How do I just get that's like my kid. I just talked to him the other day. He's like, he's just pissed he's got to do something to earn his stuff. Even after we agreed, shook hands on it, he's just like, nah, man, I just want this. It's Nintendo Classics to be on his Switch, where he has all the classic games from all the old consoles. And he's like, I just want the thing. I'm like, yeah, but you agree to do your chores every day, and with some of your pay, you pay that fee every month because it's subscription. And he's like, I'm like, so you just think you're gonna just reap the rewards and have to do no work for it? And I said, life has something to hand you, and it's gonna be your ass, because God, it is not that way. So everybody wants the money, but nobody wants to do the work. They all want the winnings, and that's why the same thing with like working out, and the people that didn't get the bodybuilding classic win and didn't beat Arnold Schwarzenegger. Were you in the gym as much as him? Nah, you skipped leg day. You skipped leg day, and when they judged you and your legs weren't as big as Arnold's, you were like, damn, man, Arnold's got, like, how come I can't just win? You skipped leg day, bro. You skipped. You know, you got to do the work, and sometimes it's as grueling and crappy as getting in the mud, man.
Yeah.
Everybody wants this shortcut. It's enticing, because we all want to be top of the top, but only the top of the top put in the real work.
Yeah.
Unless you got generational winnings and you're at the top because of that, but
So back to the path, like I just wanted to kind of just reiterate here, like how amazing it is after you clearly define what you want and you are in that path and you're seeing amazing things happen, you know. And it's just like the path keeps coming. It keeps revealing that I'm on the right path. How Robert and I have had this conversation several times, and again today, here it is again. It's like now I can't even deny it. I can't even deny. This is what makes it so exciting. It makes me believe 100% that I've already achieved this by all of the things I've been saying. The conversations. I'm not trying to be a broken record, but just. It's so amazing when you're in tune with what you want and you've clearly defined it and are and taking the correct actions to get there. And the actions aren't always correct. Like I changed what I should be doing, that now I realize I have to bite the bullet, man, and kind of spend some time doing what isn't very I enjoy doing, but I don't really enjoy doing. But it keeps showing up, and with this is what I'm talking about. You can't even like the path won't even let me veer off it now at this point, because every time I veer off it, we keep having these same conversations, and the more we have the same conversations, the more it finally clicks, because it's a real thing. Like we have to get out there and people have to hear about us, so like doesn't matter. Even though I want to do all these other things, I want to finish these book I'm writing, but it's just going to be the same thing. I finished the book and then what, so it's very important that I kind of shift focus. So now when I finish something, I can see the fruits of it, and that's going to be some hard grinding. So here we are. Today's the day. After today, the grind's it's been changing. I've already been doing some organizing the past couple of nights and getting prepared for it, because it's going to be a lot, and I want to make sure I'm organized so I can have it in order for when I need to place it where I want and reflect on it, and not just have sporadic stuff all over the place. It's not how you should work, especially with what we're doing. It's going to be too much. So just working on getting that organized and cleaning my desktop up and getting ready for the work and the programs ready, how I'm going to do it, and just found out an easier way to do it. That's a better way than so they should be faster now. Now I can just look for what I need to use and put that out, instead of trying to be all cool looking, which takes more time. So even the process is getting better as we come closer to making the correct decision, because remember, it's doing the right things consistently and long enough, and we are doing the right things, but man, it's time to get dirty again. So that's exciting though. But in a sense, it's really exciting because the path we are so in tune with this path that we're on, that it won't even let us veer off when I'm trying to. It's not like I'm veering, because I'm really trying to still succeed in the same thing, right? But, the focus needs to change. And this conversation has been happening over and over, and I keep trying to sidestep it. There is no shortcut, right? It's almost like I'm trying to create another shortcut to get there, because I don't like this way to get there. But this is really the most realistic, is realistically what needs to happen. It's the truth. It needs to happen. And we'll talk about it. I don't really want to reveal it all the way, because I'd rather live it, because now these shows are changing. So I would, instead of just tell you, I would rather kind of live it a little bit. I don't know. And another thing I wanted to change too, Robert, I want to tell you, like, I wanted to like almost make it like we're talking to other people less and more like we're talking to each other.
No,
like
you already talked about that. Yeah, no, I agree.
So even so, here I am talking to other you guys out there because I'm so excited to share this information.
We're so used to that, you know.
But I wanted to switch it up and just be like, "Hey, Robert, I'm trying to tell you," but we're on a good roll here. So, I mean, anyways, I'm almost kind of.
So screw you guys. We're gonna start talking to each other right now.
Yeah. So forget you. So
anyway,
hey,
so hi, Will.
Yeah, what up, huh?
So what's up,
yeah,
bro?
So
like,
you guys.
how's your kid?
No, not screw you guys, because this is important. Like,
it's super important. But we've been talking to you guys for 100 episodes,
right?
You know, time for
that's
us.
why I'm chilling with candles and not worried about quality. You know, the quality and all the lighting. You know what I mean? That's great. But now it's almost like it's more like table talk now. Like when we first get on, this is what we're doing. We're chilling. I kind of change the lights up so the looks different in the back. Of course, my screen looks different than your screen. But
well, you know, we're still we're still like talking directly to each other, but about this information in our lives. So we never really have conversations that are outside of the information, which is funny. You know, it's never really like if I talk about Kanye West, I'm talking about how
I don't even like to hear that crap.
Like, well, that's the point. Like when I talk about Kanye West, it's talking about how this information is in that video. Like if you guys watch the new Netflix thing, it's like how this information is been proven in his life. And what's dope is we see what's come to fruition. This guy's got $9 billion and will have much more. And it's like I like to talk about those guys and famous people every time I see their stuff going, man, everything we talk about, it kind of like lends its hand. And with the Kanye thing, it's like it starts out at the beginning of his journey. He happened to have a friend who was a cameraman and literally, you know, document his journey where he's playing his tape, which is literally playing future hit songs, and you're listening to him and going, that song's actually a hit 2 years later, and he's playing it for everybody in the Rockefeller camp, and you can see nobody's even listening. They're still talking and taking phone calls and like just like whatever. This guy's just standing around. He's kind of like waiting his turn to like play them the tape of his music, and nobody wants to hear him, and nobody cares. And you're going, oh my God, they're like literally like shining on Kanye West, who though that College Dropout album was a famous like classic album, like his top album he ever sold, and he's a top selling person. And it's so crazy, he believed in himself so much, he kept showing people the stuff and got turned down for like 2 years, and you see him going through the stuff discouraged, but just believed in himself and kept it going. He talked about the energies and the universe helping him and God as well. He's a very, very spiritual person. But he would speak that, and his mother would speak that. And so I love when I'm having a conversation, it's like this information that we talk about on this show all the time is actually in this Kanye thing. And I mean, it's so like obvious, which, you know, Will and I don't have any real big time proof. I mean, we have plenty of successes, but like no major, like, holy shit, it's undeniable successes. But when you see him at the beginning and you know what he's already done and you can see where he's being shut down, but still believes in himself. And he talks manifestation, and he talks about reading practicing a Grammy speech to accept a Grammy, which he hasn't even been presented for, but he has a Grammy speech ready that he practices all the time. That's manifestation. And he's doing all these things, and then you see all those come to fruition. And it's like, you're looking at all these people like, get out of here, it's dumb Kanye. And you're like, oh my God, this guy's like a genius musically, you know? And in fashion too. I mean, he's made was eight of the billion is strictly off fashion. And it's like you see this, but it's like you can see this information in somebody who's ground down, he's broke, he doesn't have enough money for a car, he's running to the next session that's 20 blocks away in New York because he needs this guy to buy a beat so he can eat. And it's just like, it's like you see this kind of thing. So if I am talking to Will about anything other than this information. It's about how there's some information about some famous person where I go, this kind of adds to like what we're talking about. This is proof, and this new documentary is like hella proof, like on how that works, and like belief and like masterminding. Like he masterminded with his mother who told him, hey man, every time you rap to her as an 11 and 12-year-old kid, she'd be like, that's $1 million idea. And she'd pump him up and be like, you got to keep going. And she believed him. And then she's mastermind. Like, and you kind of like just go, that stuff's crazy powerful, especially when you can see like a full on map of his beginning and where he is currently, and all the way he was saying, I'm going to do this. Funny, I was with a kid who's a up and coming rapper right now, and he was telling me like about what he got from it, where he was like, it's so crazy, like he kept saying he's doing all this shit, and everyone was like, dude, this dude's out there talking about winning Grammys and shit and doing his own Grammy speech. This guy is off the freaking, he's jumping out the window crazy, like, and when you watch the video, you're like, but it does all happen for him. But before it ever happens, he's talking that shit. And it's the coolest thing to see that. And so it really relates to what we're talking about. So when Will and I have these conversations, it's really like all in the same thread is what the Frequency Control show is. So we really want to just kind of like switch our angle to just him and I having a conversation, kind of like any other podcast, really, where it's like someone has a guest. You don't see like Ellen talking to the audience; she's talking to her guest. If she's got Tom Cruise on, it's her and Tom Cruise conversation, and you tune in and you kind of watch their conversation, and you're cool with it.
That's
so
exactly it. Yeah.
And same thing like a Joe Rogan. He's just interviewing someone and he's having a casual conversation with them, and you just kind of hop in and just get to be the bird's eye view of that conversation and be like, oh, okay. Oh, wow. And you get to glean whatever you do. And as opposed to what we've been doing, which is kind of weird in a way, how we all kind of like geared that way to just talk to you guys directly out there. Like,
well, we were sharing this information with people.
Yeah. And I think
now
that
it started out, but now we're at a different point.
And now that we've shared it, we could have just talked about the information and then
could have, which would have been way cooler.
Which was kind of weird.
We're at this point.
Which was a bit weird for us because we all kind of learned that level of information together. So it'd be like, why are you telling me this stuff I already know? Whereas, so we telling you guys, you get it, watch the last 100 episodes, and then now you're up to speed. And now when you watch these conversations we have, you're going, I get it. And we're basically talking about our day-to-day,
our weeks,
how our week's gone. We're kind of touching base. The Frequency Control show is more like Will and I touching base on like how our week went and how like this information helped us, or how we're discouraged, or how we're kind of switching it up a little bit, or course correcting, adjusting. You don't want to switch up and always be like new trend, new flavor of the month, and never really drill down into one thing. But like how we're changing and evolving, and I think it'll be interesting that way. And it's kind of like a natural progression. It needs to go that route because really now it's like, I think we said everything that we possibly know. Right. Now talk about it in context in our lives, and our weeks, and how it really has impacted us.
You gotta see how this looks on my phone. I'm gonna get these screens switched up. It's my life goal right now. Anyways, yeah, I agree.
How it looks from your phone is Zoom. You're not seeing the actual podcast.
I know, but I want you to see what I would like to see if that is possible.
Do the math with a 1080 square.
Hey, you gotta try. All I know is if I
draw it out, Will, and we'll do it. We'll draw it out and we'll do it. You drew the square, which is like a YouTube 1080 rectangle, and then you fit your squares in, and we'll do whatever you want. I don't really care.
So man, how exciting this is. So these are changing, like, because this is an important time, and I am going to talk to you people now who have finally tuned in. This is an important time because now you get to, we got to work into it, right? I got to remember.
We got to figure out how to have a conversation.
I have to remember now that I'm talking to you and not an audience. But in this example, this is an important time because now weekly, it's going to be how we're achieving our success. So this is an exciting moment because we're at a point now where you're watching the success happen now. We've got everything dialed in. The path is just speaking in every conversation I have, every experience, everything I can remember during a day is strikingly like along this path. It's crazy. Even the conversation I had with Robert before we started the show, a very crucial conversation to straighten up my action. Just an incredible. This is a very exciting time for you and us because every week is how we're the next step closer. Things that are happening on our path, like we're really on the path to get the. We've been on the path, right? But we're like dialed in, and it's really getting exciting. I can't tell you how crazy every conversation. Rob, I already had a topic for today. And then Robert mentioned something that I've forgotten how I wanted to start it, and just so happens to be the title about shortcuts. And I forgot that's what I wanted to talk about, and it just so happened to be the title. And he mentioned it in a conversation we had before the show. And this happens frequently when I'm preparing for the shows. And I've been preparing for the shows now a lot more because they are changing. Like I was ready to go today. Like I'm going to chill it out because now these shows are more like me and him talking. So to me, I want to be more chill because that's how it is when we're talking in the beginning before the show. It's dark, it's chill, maybe drinking a beer or something, and just more like a talk, like a podcast show, maybe a more interesting one at that. So this is exciting, man, and I can't wait to keep I'm going to talk about this path every show because this is just really exciting to see be so in tune with the path to get to where I want. It's so in tune that I've realized 2 years ago I could have maybe been at this place already, but I wasn't focused properly.
Yeah, but hindsight's
I wasn't
2020.
focused. Yeah,
like I do that too. Like, man,
I could say I coulda, but
I do that too. I'm like,
obsessing over it though.
I did that after having my son, and then 7 years later, I've been like working and obviously focusing on being a provider, but like literally going, did I really have to quit everything? I could have hammered down. Man, I would be so far, and I would already be way ahead, and it's like, yeah, that's hindsight though. When you're in it. When you're in it, you're in the trenches, you're making the decisions based on the information at that time that you have, and we can always take all that new information we have now and go back and go, oh, if I would have just done this at 21, that's like, yeah, you're saying if I would have been 50 at 21, nah, you have 50 years of knowledge at 21, of course, but you don't though. This is the information you got, and this is what you did with it, Yeah. So it's something to be said.
But I'm not looking about it what I could have done. I'm just kind of taking a look at the path from the past, right? Like, oh man, it was there.
Yeah, it's all been there though. I ain't doing anything different. I'm still making beats, bro. Like it ain't nothing different. I still want the same thing. It ain't different. Right. I could have been doing this in the Snoop Dogg days, and that shit could have kept popping, and could have, but it didn't, it popped the way it did, and now I'm still riding that. I produced for Snoop Dogg,
Yeah, but these conversations will be different at a different point where it'd be like, hey, it had to happen like that. We just just don't know that and it even if it didn't like that yet to be able to explain it.
Even if it didn't, it did. So here we are.
It is. It already is.
And here we are.
It's already happened. That's why you can't dwell on that kind of stuff. Yeah. Because maybe I wasn't ready at the time, or maybe some other stuff stuff.
But as you get a little bit older, it's funny how
Well-
much more impatient you get. You're more like
times, yeah,
like
times.
one of my favorite singers from the Screaming Trees passed away, Mark Lanigan, rest in peace. He 57, bro. I started thinking, damn, in like 12 years, 13 years, like imagine me going, if somebody just said, hey man, 13 years from now, you will die. I'd be like, what the fuck? That is not enough time. That is not enough time. I need more time. Hell fucking no. I'm not trying to pass away in 13 years. Really? 13 years and I'm done? Like it's a wrap?
Like, I can't even think about this.
Hell no. But it's great to think about. It's like Kanye said, he got in a accident, busted his whole face, almost died. And he said that was the best thing that ever happened to me because let me know that life isn't promised. You know, death is the only thing that's promised in this life. And it's like tomorrow is not promised. And knowing that somebody said you have 5 years to live, man, boy, would you make different decisions. If you knew your time of expiration, you would make different decisions and you would be moving with urgency. You would not waste a second. Or you would say, hey, I'm just here to tear it up, have fun, travel to Florida, go to freaking Iraq. Like my homie Dave, he had cancer, and that's what he did. You know what? He's like, I'm passing away, and I don't know if it's going to be tomorrow or the next day. And so you seen Dave, he traveled a lot. He did a lot of traveling. He got up and he traveled and just went wherever the hell he wanted. He traveled a ton. He went to Vegas. He gambled his ass off. He went to Florida. He went to Mexico. He went to anywhere he wanted. He drove to California. He just went. I'm going. Like he's trying to live up, 30 years and try like a 4-year period. You know what I mean? So if you knew, you would be. This death of this man made me go like, damn. 12 years, like, damn, dude, that ain't long from now. I'm like 12, 13 years, like, or 12 and a half years, like, oh, man, I'll be making some, well, I'm kind of, like, doing what I should be doing, but, like, should I hug my kids more? Like, what, like, I'm trying to, like, think of, like, I need to be moving different. Like, you never know, man. Yeah, sure, my goal is 100, but at the same time, like, I don't know. Like, I'll feel like a stud, but, like, at the same thing, I don't know. Like, but you'd be making some different decisions, man. You'd be moving differently. You'd be more, you'd move with purpose. You know what I mean? You'd be more deliberate in every step. And it's like, it's heavy when you think about it like that. Like, you kind of go, that's not enough time, man. We just need to be sitting around hugging my kids all day. I don't know what else to do. Like, I just be like,
yeah, but that's what it's
I'm
about.
But you got to think like that, almost like I'm not playing, dude, and move that hardcore. Like, dude, if it's 12 years, then I need to be just, what am I doing? Why am I trying to reach through social media? Why am I not trying to find Kanye West's phone number in the phone book and calling his ass like directly and saying, let's go? Like you would be making way much more bold moves. You would just be like, yo, this is what I'm trying to do. Yo, how don't you be knocking on MTV's door or Netflix door going, I got an idea for a movie. Let's go. Here's the script. I spent freaking all day for 10 days straight staying up. Like, you would be knocking on doors. You'd be at the radio show kicking down the doors. You would be active, bro. And I think that's the difference I seen between normal people, even myself, and Kanye West. When you watch his documentary, he is knocking on doors, literally going to these places, physically knocking on the doors and being like, yo, let me in. Can I just play you this tape? I mean, that's just real shit. And you wonder why people make it and people don't. This guy is knocking on the doors. As opposed to like, not vaguely, but like passive aggressively, or for lack of better terminology, trying to slip in DMs on Instagram and kind of like do your thing and kind of like, what are you doing really? Like, you got to go bold. You got to literally dig in and call these find the phone number. It's on the back of the CD. Like, you know, if they even make those anymore. But you look in the credits, like, oh, Tom Jones is the art director of this film. I'm on the horn with who's the music director. I want to have sync licensing. Why am I not calling this dude or finding him on or Twitter and messaging him like, yo, I got music, man. How do I get on the next show? And I seen that with the Kanye West thing. I seen that, man. That was a huge difference between him and I. Just the boldness of him just knocking on doors, going through, literally going, I'm out of Chicago. I'm moving to New York, and I'm going in these buildings. I'm knocking on them, and I got a tape. I'm playing. I'm rapping out loud. I'm like doing whatever I need to do. And you kind of go like, I need to be that bold in what I'm doing. As opposed to just making music, hoping that somehow the right person comes across it. Hopefully the right person comes across my Instagram post. But when you look at these other guys, man, they're literally kicking down doors. Literally kicking down doors. Like, I'm coming in. They're like, no, so-and-so's not here. He's like, I need to borrow, like, his studio time. Like, he's like, just like, what do I got to do, you know? I see Kanye whipping a freaking Nissan, no hubcap on one of the wheels, like, just beater car. And you see him mobbing around. He's already done 6 songs off the blueprint from freaking Jay-Z. Already produced. So you're thinking he's made bank then. 30G a song, right? For back then, that's how much you got paid for a beat. And this guy's whipping a Nissan Maxima or something with the missing, or Sentra, missing hubcap, whipping it, but still going to each place with the tape, playing the tape, and each people are just like not even listening to him, and he's like, shit, go to the next room, try it again. And you just see the kicking down doors thing as opposed to this very, very passive way as everyone else, like, build your YouTube following or build your Instagram, get it popping. Nah, man, you need to start digging in DMs. You need to start calling people. Like, I really gleaned that from there. I was like, oh, man, I'm just not being aggressive enough. However, if I knew I only had 12 years to live, you bet your ass I'm kicking down some doors. So why are we not living like tomorrow's not promised? Why are you not chasing your dream like tomorrow's not promised? Why are you still thinking about things? Why are you still going, I gotta wait till I get my music good enough, or I gotta wait till whatever it is you're doing, my acting good enough? You just need to start knocking down some motherfucking doors. This will be a great clip. I swear, because I'm pumping myself up thinking about it, because I'm as much to blame or guilty as much as the next man for this. You know, thinking I'm doing a lot. What are you talking about, man? I know Snoop Dogg. I've been like, yeah, but am I really doing it, or am I just putting some little videos up on social media and all that and hoping it gets a lot of numbers? Like, that's passive as shit. I ain't kicking no one's doors down. Well, I ain't shoving a freaking thumb drive with all my beats up in somebody's fucking ass or in their pockets. You know, like, yo, play my shit or I'm going to shoot you. Like, why am I not aggressive? No, that's why you're not anywhere. Because you look at anybody, a Bezos, Elon Musk, any famous rapper, like, you find out, oh no, they were, what? Ice Cube was in a place with Priority Records with a baseball bat swinging and breaking shit. Like, yes, these people kick down doors literally to be where they're at. You know, the people got just found over in a coffee shop somewhere is a rarity. It's an anomaly. Most people who make it had to kick through some doors, take some rejection, and just believe in yourself, literally unreasonably optimistic, and kick down some doors, bro. Because that's what I'm noticing with anybody I ever watch, like, from like finding out their stories, like, oh no, I was kicking down doors. But it was great to see a documentary where it was physically happening and he's literally doing that. And it's like, we're not doing that. You're not doing that. If you're not successful yet, ask yourself, are you physically stopping everything you're doing, quitting your job, and flying to a place? And then when you get there, Not just sitting there waiting till business happens for you, but kicking down doors to make sure it happens. Finding somebody in the phone book, looking up the credits on a back end of a movie, finding that person, stalking them, fucking going to their home when you figure out their address, showing up and getting freaking stalker charges to literally be like, yo, dude, I have the script for this movie, or yo, man, I got this song, or hey, man, I'm putting out this album, hey, man, I make beats, or hey, man, I edit video, hey, man, I shoot videos, or hey, I do ballet, like whatever it is. You're not doing that. You're not that aggressive, guaranteed. But if you only had 12 years to live, you would be. You would literally be unapologetic about it because you'd be like, look, I don't give a flying F because I only got 12 years to live. So I don't care if you think I'm an idiot. I'm here. Here's my stuff. I'm worth it. I'll add value. I got 12 years to live. I don't have time to worry about if I offended your ass or not. I'm here. I've arrived. It was written. Let me in. I got 12 years. But we're all acting like we're going to live to 100 and we're moving as such. We are all acting like we're going to live to 100. And so we're shuffling our feet and rethinking if this is too hard or this isn't right, and we're doing this little and then we wonder why we're here at this age and we haven't made it. Literally going, well, have you really tried that hard? No. Have you lived like you have 12 years to live? Or have you moved and taken action like you only have 12 years to go? Hell no, you haven't. I guarantee you haven't, and don't lie. Everybody out there, anybody, I don't give a shit who you are, me included. Keep going like, yeah, I got some time. I still feel healthy. I don't want to act all thirsty and like I'm just trying to get, nah, man, get your ass in there. You know what I mean? Kick down some doors, because if you had 12 years and you knew it, you knew your expiration date, you would be frantic about it. Period. Or you would just say, yo, I'm going to travel my ass off and screw it if you didn't have any real ambitions. Like my homie Dave, he didn't want to do shit with his life but have a Porsche and just mad money and girls. That was it. That's his aspirations. Mad money, girls, and a Porsche. So if you have aspirations and you had 12 years to live, you wouldn't be doing this like, I'm kind of like tired now. I'm going to take a nap and like, yeah, I didn't get to it today. Oh, well, nappy time. I'll do it tomorrow with more energy. And then tomorrow becomes 4 months and then a year, 10 years, 20 years. And you're going, yeah, I really didn't do shit. And that's the reality. And that's how you find yourself at 50, 44, 60, dead. Not where you want to be. And you keep blaming it on like not figuring out how it was supposed to work. But I really think it's the fact that you didn't move like you knew your expiration date. If you don't move like you're dying tomorrow, you aren't going to make it. Because the people that make it are the people that literally go, I could die tomorrow. I'm getting it. Sure, there was me, and I wasn't thinking it's dying tomorrow, but I was working my ass off. Like, back in the Snoop Dogg, I was literally like, every vacation day I had, every fucking vacation, I mean every vacation, I was hunkered down in the studio, figuring out how to make a machine work, and grinding, and grinding, and grinding, and grinding, to even have enough information available to even take on that opportunity. Non-stop music. I did not make music. The eye opener was my wife says, yeah, back when you did nothing but make music, your grass was 4 foot tall and you did nothing but sit in that studio and make music. She goes, I never saw you for the first 5 years of our relationship. Literally, she's telling me, I never saw you. All you did was be downstairs making music. And she goes, and I was bored out of my mind. She goes, I'd be like on my phone, like, damn, man. Like, it was like not even having a person. Like, and I was like, oh, really? I was like that? And I started thinking, oh, yeah, yeah. I would be taking my vacations and be like, what do I do on my vacation? Yo, Tony, making Tony take the same vacation as me, Tony House. Like, yo, you're going to take the same vacation, bro. I'll pick you up at 6 a.m. every morning and we are working. We're getting an album done. Like, and it was just non-stop. And on Wednesdays, I got the Vernado brothers at the house. Thursdays, I got them at the house. And then I got Nowdy at the, like, that's all I'm doing, right? Like, working, not thinking of an expiration date. But the point was hammering and hammering and hammering. However, if I knew I was going to die in a few years, guarantee I would be finding these numbers online, calling them and going, how can I get in? I got some shit to show you. I have value to add. I'm doing this now. And I would be very aggressive about it. Unapologetically aggressive. Because I don't give a flying F what you think about me and how thirsty I am about this. I'm trying to make it. I got 12 years to live. Let's go. And if you aren't doing it like that, then you aren't gonna do it. I guarantee it. This is speaking to me more than it is speaking to anybody right now, I'm sure. Because I am like, damn. I've always felt like it was just like a little bit hesitation, a little slow. Am I kicking down doors? Am I doing this? I saw this Kanye freaking interview, but documentary. And it's not his documentary. It's his friend who Tanya didn't want him to put it out. And he's just filming all this stuff. And it was like, oh my God. There's like, he literally, Rockefeller doesn't want to sign him. They're like, I'm not really worried about it. But he kept making so many moves on his own that they were like, we got to sign him. He's going to get famous and we're going to miss the bus on this. So we got it. We just need to get this shit on paper. Because he just kept putting in work to where they can't say no to him. And the intensity for me was like, oh, this shit didn't just land in his lap. This guy had to work for it. I'm thinking, okay, he produced, he's dope. Gets on a Jay-Z album. They're like, oh, you can rap a little bit. Let's sign you. Let's make it happen for you. It's like, no, you produce. They're like, we don't want to sign you. Just keep making beats. Shut up. You ain't rapping. No, we don't. Stop rapping. Keep making more beats. And that's what they did. Even after they signed him, they shelved him. He kept recording his album on his own by borrowing time from like Ludacris and all of them. Like they had an extra hour on their studio time. He's like, can I stay in here and work on my album a little bit? Yeah, no problem. And working it and just literally doing his own thing, paying his own money to do his videos. His first videos, all that shit paid for by him. Recorded his whole album out of pocket after being signed to Rockefeller because they wouldn't open up a budget for him. So he paid for it all out of pocket. Big, expensive ass studios. Bottom line is, you see this guy kicking in doors on MTV, and I'm like, man, that speaks to me. If you aren't doing it like that. And then Mark Lanigan from Screaming Trees passing away. Rest in peace. It's like 57. That's only like 12 and a half years from me right now. Like I'm 44. And I'm like, damn, that ain't enough time. That spoke to me too. And I was like, you gotta, like Kanye said, I'm so thankful I almost died in that car accident. Because that's what made him work harder. Because he had this realization that tomorrow ain't promised. And I think it's a lot to be said about some of these guys that really make it. I mean, they're just getting it and they're working so hard towards it that it's undeniable it's going to happen. It's the only thing on their mind. Anyway, I digress. But it opened my eyes to where like, man, I'm over here just kind of, well, you know, I'm still working, but I mean like, am I kicking indoors? It's just something to think about. Like, your path is your path. You approach things the way you approach, and you know, you might be 21, still got all the time in the world, but you don't know. Look at Pac. You're 21. Pac died freaking at 24 years old. 24 years old. Imagine you will dying 26 years earlier. 24 years old. But was able to frickin' kick in the door and make a stamp in the game and become a legend by 24. Gets on the scene at 20. By 24, legend. Oh, wow. That's impressive. Same thing with Christopher Wallace. Biggie Smalls. Died at like 25. Think about that. And became a legend. Easy-E. You know, like legends. And I'm talking never made it to frickin' 30. But they were aggressive in the way they did things. You know, like so. Anyway, I'm just saying. I don't even know what my point is, but the bottom line is like there's something to be said about how you're approaching your approach. You know, are you going all in? Or are you just kind of dipping your toes in the water? Going, I don't understand how I'm not wet. I'm not wet yet. Well, you just keep dipping your toe and then taking it out and then dipping your toe and taking it out. You ain't getting wet that way. You ain't swimming that way. I think it's a very freaking valid point, you know.
Yeah, that's doesn't get any more real than that.
That's very real. And my point is,
I don't have anything to say after that.
Seeing it happen in this thing, you kind of go like, wow. It was undeniable that man was going to make it the way he was moving. Like there was no tomorrow. But guess what? There was tomorrow for him. And he did live past 12 years. And that's how come he's a billionaire. You know, a fucking billionaire. Because he still moves that hard. Just moving. Crazy as you want to call him, he is a mover, man. I mean, impressive as shit. Like when you watch this, you just like, this kid's how old? 18 years old, and he's moving like that. Like, and he's just aggressive. I'm just gonna be the best dressed rapper in the game because these rappers don't know how to dress. And guess what? Starts his own fashion company. He's working with Gap and Louis Vuitton and like doing like full on freaking collabs. Like billionaire, bro. Top selling shoe ever made. The top selling shoe ever made. Yeah, that's a big deal.
Yeah, so watch the documentary. Yeah, I'm good.
All right, guys. Like, comment, subscribe.